Everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to Clarion's transportation webinar. And I'd like to start it out with a few housekeeping items. Please use the Q&A feature on the Zoom to submit your questions. We're going to do a Q&A session after the webinar this morning. Or this afternoon, depending on where you're at. And we'll get to all your questions when we're done with the demonstration. Again, my name is Ray Dorsey. I'm a transportation consultant with Clearion. I spent 20 years with the Georgia DOT, retiring back in 2017. Joining us shortly will be Brooks Smith. Brooks is a GIS analyst at Clearion, and Brooks's career includes a stint with DOT maintenance, a DOT maintenance contractor implementing mapping software. So he's got quite a bit of experience in this field. What we'll cover, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Clearion. We're going to talk about what solutions we offer in the transportation field. Brooks is going to do some software demonstrations on several of the solutions. And then again, we'll get to the Q&A. Clearion has supported infrastructure maintenance operations with Esri-based software solutions for nearly 15 years. We began working with DOT contractors in 2016 and support a wide range of workflows today. Our solutions include asset inspection and maintenance management, vegetation management, damage assessment, and emergency response. At the heart of Clarion's solution is the Esri platform, where all data is synchronized and stored. This diagram shows you the Clearion applications that are configured to meet the unique workflows of our transportation customers. The management tool is for leadership personnel to handle work assignment, tracking, and reporting. Our Clearion app is for field personnel to perform work planning, track work, execution, and to conduct field audits. Those work hand in hand with dashboards for managers and supervisors to view field work. Our field app for phones and tablets works on all major platforms. It supports a wide range of workflows. It can be installed in minutes. And our capabilities allow you to plan, assign, track, and analyze all from your mobile device. And now I'll turn it over to Brooks for a demonstration for vegetation management focused on mowing.
Thanks, Ray. All right. So to start this off, I'm going to be demonstrating our vegetation management solution that's focused on DOT mowing operations. And we'll be looking at this on our Clearion app, the cross-platform app that can be downloaded from the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, and the Microsoft Store. And for this mowing demonstration, we'll be looking at it on my iPhone. So in the app, we have the ability to have multiple roles, and these different roles allow different functionality. So we'll first look at a general person working for a contractor, managing crews, you know, out mowing in one of the counties for Georgia Department of Transportation. I'm going to start with Richmond County. This is over near Augusta where they hold the Masters. If I narrow the list down for Richmond County, in this list of work plans, we'll see some details about Richmond County. So we see that this is a mow cycle 1 work plan, and there's roughly 111 miles in this work plan. Once we open it up, we have basically an overview of the work plan. It breaks out how many routes are in the county and what status those routes are. So we see that there are 14 routes in the assigned status. On the overview, we can assign a GF. We can put some details about, you know, Richmond County. We can say that maybe there was 250 litter bags collected. We could say maybe there's 20 tires that were collected. We also have the ability to attach pictures, take pictures, or attach PDFs. So we can kind of show that. Here I am. And we can also pull up previous attachments. So there's one ugly picture of me yesterday. We can save the details like the 250 litter bags and 20 tires to the work plan. And then we can also download this for offline use. We see that very useful for utility veg crews and DOT veg crews that go out to areas with limited cell or Wi-Fi access. Now we can navigate into the work activity view. And this is optimized for an iPhone or an Android device. And we'll see a different layout when we switch over to the Windows version of the Clearion app. But what this does is allows you to maximize the real estate on your phone. We have the map. We can slide up halfway to see the list and the map. And we can slide that all the way up to see an entire list. As we make a selection in the map, it makes that same selection in the list. And the same goes for if we make a selection in the list, makes it in the map. We can also, you know, bulk update the routes. So if my crews are out and they want to portray that they're actively working on a couple of these routes, I can select 2 of them and hit this bulk update button. If I need to, I can attribute, you know, litter bags. It's going to auto capture today's date and my user name. And if I have some notes, I can put those there. So that's going to change the symbology on the map and move it into its own category in the list for that status. Okay. And I can do the same thing. Let's say on a couple of these routes here, you know, I can mark them as complete. So I can hit that complete button. Fill out any details. I might want to break out when the litter was completed, when the mowing was completed, or when the trimming crews came through and when that was completed. And I can leave notes as well. I'm also going to go ahead and show you guys our create feature functionality. So if we need to add some kind of safety location, we can do that. So I'll go ahead and hit this add safety. I can make a note of some kind of safety concern. I'll say large debris in the right of way. And I can submit that. We also have the ability to add polygons. So I'll come over to this info tab and I can add some, let's add a restricted area. So a lot of the times there'll be restricted areas along the right of way. Maybe there's construction, or maybe there's some kind of hazard or something like that. We can have different types of restrictions. I'm just going to make a no-mow zone for this example. And we can also add management areas. So one of the concerns and one of the other operations going on at DOTs is managing wildflower areas, or, you know, capturing where there's endangered species along the right of way. So we can track those here, and I'll just add a wildflower area. These may change over time, and they can easily be deleted, or, you know, you can change the size of that polygon. All right, well, I'm going to pivot back to the overview. We can now see that there's 2 routes in the active status, 2 routes in the complete status. And now I'm going to kind of switch over to a dashboard view. And let me go ahead and do that. So here I have a dashboard view. This is a very useful tool for DOT, executives and the contractor executives trying to gauge where the, where the contracts stand. So if you wanted to see, the completion of your contractor working in District 2 or in, District 4, you can make these changes and see them live on the map. And since we were kind of focusing on Richmond County, I'm going to go ahead and add that there. And basically it narrows it down to just those. We can also, add some kind of like route type. Like if we only want to focus on where the interstate route stood, we can make that change as well. But what we're seeing here is those same edits we had just made in the Clearion app are now visible on the dashboard. This could be pulled up on any desktop computer at the DOT or at the contractor's office, just to see, how far along our contractor is in this work. This could be a good indication to an inspection or an auditing team on what routes they need to go and inspect. So if you had pulled up the dashboard and you saw that they were, your contractors completed SR 56 and SR 121, you could navigate out to those routes and inspect for completion. So now I'm going to pivot back to the Clearion app and show the inspection and auditing role and the functionality that they have. And that will kind of give light to this two-way communication through our GIS solution. All right. So if I navigate back out to the home screen, I can switch roles. I can select the auditor role, and I come back in, and I'm going to pull up that same Richmond work plan. And we'll see limited functionality here, kind of focused on that role. So an auditor or inspector wouldn't be in charge of adding in litter details or tire counts collected or putting attachments, but they will be in charge of basically, analyzing the routes and finding out if there's any rework needed. So we can see that there's 2 routes in the complete status on this overview. We move in and maybe we search for SR 56. Can search it, narrows the list down to just that route. We make that selection, drive the route, and we decide that, this doesn't pass and there's some rework needed. So what we can do is we can hit that big bulk audit rework needed button. It's going to auto capture today's date and my username. I can hit rework and say, guardrail needs trimming. And that would give light to the contractor of what needs to be done so that they can complete the work all the way, and then they could submit it for billing. So now we see all these broken out here in the list by status. If we back out to the the work plan overview, we're now going to see that one route in the purple audit status, and that kind of pushes that two-way communication that we think is really important, and it's really easily done and implemented in a cross-platform application. I'm going to pivot one more time back to the dashboard. We'll search for Richmond. Can pan over to that county. And now we're going to see, in our pie chart, we see, how many miles in that county are in the assigned, how many are in the active, complete, and that route that's in the rework status. We could select that from the pie chart and know exactly which route we need to send crews back out to at the contractor side to complete that work. So that is basically our mowing vegetation management solution. We've gotten great feedback from our customers on how easy it is to train and use this application, both with the contractor and with the inspection teams that we've worked with. So that's where I'm going to stop for the mowing solution and pivot over to this guardrail assessment, inspection, damage assessment Clearion app. So what we're looking at here is some Vermont data that we loaded in. It's focused in this work group on a road, Vermont 12, and all the guardrails along that route. We can see that some of these routes have been reported as damaged, and that's where we're going to focus today, is damaged guardrail, and basically assessing whether it needs repair or to be replaced. And we can also get an estimate of the cost and track the the resources that need to come back out for the repair. So we can move in. Now we're seeing on the left side here, and this is a little different than it is on the iPhone. It's kind of more of a landscape view. We've got our list on the left, breaking out the guardrails and what status they're in, and then we have the map on the right. So if we open up that damage reported status, and we select one of these guardrails, we can zoom in. We now have the functionality enabled to basically change base maps, so we can be looking at some imagery hybrid. If we're in the field, this could help us determine that we're assessing the right guardrail in the app. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the details here. We can see some of the construction details related to this guardrail, like what types of posts and details about it. We can see that whoever assessed and reported this as damage said that there was slight impact to the end terminal. We could determine that there needs to be 2 posts replaced and maybe 1 new end terminal based off the way that looks, and we're live going to get an estimate of the cost. So that's basically tied to an estimated unit cost per post or terminal or any parts that make up a guardrail, and then it kind of sums all that up live for you and helps you understand how much that repair is going to cost. We can also, once again, pull up attachments. So maybe there's a picture of the guardrail damage, and we can store that and save that with the guardrail. For this case, we would move it to the repair status. It doesn't need to be fully replaced, so we can put it in that status, and crews can navigate out to the appropriate guardrail and do the repair. We can also, if something is totally destroyed, we could say whole guardrail destroyed, needs to be replaced. We could just hit that replace status and update it. So once again, that's going to move those guardrails through these different statuses here. And it's just a quick and easy tool for assessing your assets, and tracking, what parts or pieces of a guardrail need to be replaced. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot to our last solution that I'll be demonstrating today. And we will be looking at a emergency response for basically like weather events that cause a lot of debris to be along the right-of-way. So here we've just gone ahead and rolled out a debris report in Survey 123. This is another cross-platform application. And what it's going to allow us to do is, after a big storm event, we can come in and log where large amounts of vegetation debris exist. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out this form. I'm going to say there's vegetation debris. I can say large tree roadway. I can select where this is. So I could put my current location, or I could put it somewhere else. I can put an estimated volume. So I'll put 40 cubic yards and 4.5 tons. If I needed to, I could attach or take pictures, put details about who filled out the survey. And also we can track this, afterward, after we submit it, whether it's been disposed of or not. So we can submit that. And then I'm going to pull up a dashboard basically showing where all these reports wind up. So as these reports get submitted, they come through to a dashboard, and the dashboard could, help you navigate crews to the locations where there's large amounts of debris. So maybe after a hurricane, there's some severe damage in Savannah, Augusta, and Atlanta, and we need to get crews there as quickly as possible. We can see that. We can narrow this down based off the type of debris. For this example, we're just going to be looking at vegetation debris. And here are some of the reports I've submitted as examples. We can see that there's 365 cubic yards of vegetation debris in the road or in the right of way, and we can see that most of those are in the submitted but not yet disposed status. And as crews go out and work, they can move those to the disposed status. And we'd see after a storm event, hopefully the submitted would go down and the disposed would go up. So that is basically a quick and easy, emergency response for debris in the right of way and in the roadway. And what's really nice is this can also be layered in with other applications that we have. So if we have a mowing contractor working in this area, they're in charge of removing debris like this. This layer could come right into the Clearion app and show where maybe they need to pause mowing for a little bit and go get some of this debris out of the road or out of the right of way. So that concludes the 3 demonstrations for me for today. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Ray. Thanks.
Thanks, Brooks. Those were great demos that you had today. Let me switch back over to my presentation here. We're about ready to get into some questions. And Brooks was talking about some of our clients. This is one of our clients, Corey Sargent with Pro Cutters. Just what he says about our solutions. I think most of our customers are well pleased with what we have. They're certainly having an impact as we speak. With that, I'm going to go to the Q&A page and see if we've got some questions. And I do have a couple of questions here. One being, this is probably for you, Brooks. Can the storm damage assessment data collected in Survey 123 transition to the Clearion app for crews to remove debris?
Nice. Yeah, that's a great question. And I kind of went into that for a second there after my demonstration. But yes, so everything living within the Esri bubble, this layer can easily be integrated in with our mowing application or with a utility vegetation management solution. It can just be layered right in there. Users can pull up, that tab basically for the debris reports, view them, and edit the statuses of those debris reports.
Great. Okay, and somebody asked, does anyone know if Clearion solutions can be funded by the American Rescue Act allocated from the last federal stimulus package? I think I can answer that question. Yes, it can be. The American Rescue Act was designed for infrastructure. There's about $500 billion that was allocated to state and local municipalities. And a lot of that is based on new technology. So certainly our solutions fit well within that realm. So if the DOTs out there are starting to get access to that funding, you can utilize it for one of our solutions, or certainly for a pilot project if you want to go that route. And another question is, can Clearion integrate with service ticketing systems or with asset management solutions? Brooks, is that maybe one you could take on?
Yeah, so, we have a great team here at Clearion that have worked on all types of different integrations and bringing in, tickets. We're very skilled with doing that. So tickets coming in through some sort of customer portal, reporting, down trees or down poles in the roadway. Those tickets can be routed into our application, and just like the debris reports, could basically be like a panel where users on their phones can update the status of those tickets. And they can also be monitored in a dashboard or in our work manager solution. As far as, also integrating out with asset management solutions, we have a lot of experience with that. And, we have a highly skilled team that works on integrations every day.
Okay. Any other questions? We'll give it a couple of seconds here if anybody has any other questions. You can see my contact information there for email. The phone number is for our Clearion office. And if you want to talk to either me or Brooks, you can do that by calling that number. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, I appreciate everybody's time today, and thank you for attending Clarion's transportation webinar.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.